Hey, this is Order Militaris coming to you live on a early Sunday morning. The eponymous flower. Post was from April 13th, Friday. Again, the Holy Father, whatever reasons, shut down another traditional order. But from what it looks like, it is by the advice by the current Archbishop of Brussels, de Kissel. The reason he gives the Holy Father to shut down this religious order: too many Orthodox priestly vocations. What's that mean? They are very strict and faithful to the Catholic faith. They don't teach anything watered down. They don't teach anything that is against the Catholic faith. What they teach is what has been taught and defended by the doctors of the Church, the Church Fathers, the saints, and the popes, especially Pope Pius IX, Pope Pius X, Leo XIII, and so forth. Says here on the web page, for some reason, only the first page was printed out, and it's a 7-page article on it. Pope Francis signed a decree dissolving the Fraternity of the Holy Apostles. The Fraternity des Saints Apôtres. They were canonically established in April 2013 by then Archbishop Michelin Brussels and Primate of Belgium, Monsignor André Joseph Leonard. The brotherhood goes back to the French priest Michel-Marie Zanotti-Zoaquin. Archbishop Leonard called the faithful community to Belgium to help with the spiritual renewal of the archdiocese. He allowed the fraternity and gave it the parishes of St. Catherine, St. Catherine, the Centre of Brussels, and St. Joseph, the formerly Flemish, now French-speaking, Ussel in south of Brussels. Archbishop Leonard was the Archbishop of Michelin in Brussels since 2010, who was strongly opposed because of his faithfulness inside and outside the church, built with the help of the priestly fraternity and the parallel formation of priests outside the diocesan seminary. This is a path other bishops had already taken before him. Archbishop Leonard's initiatives proved to be a complete success. The society was able to achieve what the progressive diocesan institutions could no longer do: to lead young men to the beauty of vocation and service as diocesan priests. The Brotherhood is a community of world priests, but with a strong community life. She sees in it the answer to the crisis of the world priesthood in Western Europe. The parishes entrusted to them flourished in contrast to neighboring parishes and were visited by numerous young people. Although the community was only 3 years old, in the spring of 2016, it included 6 priests, 1 deacon. and 21 seminarians. An extraordinary success considering that last year there was not only one new entry into the Archbishop Seminary in the Archdiocese of Brussels. Daniel's retribution. Among the Pope's makers of the current pontificate, there is the progressive Cardinal Godfrey Daniels, who was Archbishop of Mechlin, Brussels, before Monsignor Leonard. Pope Benedict XVI made him an arch-enemy when he did not choose Daniels' preferred candidate. Archbishop Leonard had therefore to face heavy resistance in the liberal archdiocese from the beginning. The massive resistance made the necessary reform of the seminary impossible for the time being, which is why he wanted to promote priestly vocations by establishing a second seminary and to build a new clergy. Michel Marie Zonetti Zorkin, but his episcopate was too short with the resignation of Benedict XVI in the election of Francis. The hour of the long-retired Daniel struck again. As a personal friend of the new pope, he was able to take revenge. Pope Francis refused Leonard the cardinalate dignity, made instead the then apostolic nuncio in Belgium a cardinal, who had been Daniel's preferred candidate and whom Leonard wanted to prevent. A double affront to Leonard. Hardly he completed his 75th birthday, then he was retired by Francis, and Pope Bergoglio made Daniel's preferred candidate, albeit with a 5-year delay, yet the new primate of Belgium. Not only that, he raised new Daniel's complaint Archbishop Joseph de Cassel immediately to the cardinal hat. There has seldom been more demonstrative presentiment in the pontificate than in Brussels, of who is in papal favor and who is not, and what that means. The de Cassel's purge, new archbishop, with whom Daniels also retired to the archbishop's palace, began to systematically eradicate what Archbishop Leonard had done to recover a local church lying on the liberal soil. It is not just about people, but about a far more involved conflict of direction. Archbishop Leonard's ordination of the society members. One of the first victims of the purge was the priestly fraternity with holy apostles. In June 2016, de Kessel threw the brotherhood out of his diocese, and to make sure that it did not find acceptance in another Belgian diocese, he immediately made for the expulsion from all over Belgium. The reason? Hard to believe. Too many and too faithful to the church priestly vocations, meaning they would not go against the church teaching no matter what. The official reasoning was obvious, just a pretext. The expulsion was out of solidarity with the French bishops. Several members of the society, especially their superior, Zenotti Zorkin, are French because there is also a shortage of priests there. The seminarians were offered the opportunity to switch to the diocesan seminary or to leave Belgium, as if the training at the Brussels priestly seminary was the same as that of the priestly fraternity. But that was exactly what it was about. A progressive episcopate obviously wanted progressive priests, or if not, then no priests. In one of the first public statements as Primate of Belgium, de Kessel called for the abolition of celibacy with reference to prevailing lack of priests. It is easy to see a direct connection between the expulsion of the Fraternity and its plea for married priests. The thing is not surprising. In 2017, D. Kessel totally applauded the proposal to set up an Islamic prayer room at every Catholic school. Brussels, de-Christianized and Islamicized. The fact that 2 Brussels parishes would remain without a priest as a result of the expulsion did not seem to burden Archbishop D. Kessel. Neither is the fact that the parishes experienced a veritable renaissance after being transferred to the Society. After the expulsion of the Society, D. Kessel ordered the demolition of the St. Catherine's Church, as it is no longer needed because of massive parish mergers. 1/3 of the churches have already been closed or due to close. Since the society was established according to diocesan law, the new Archbishop D. Kessel could also dissolve them again. He did just that for Saints Peter and Paul Day in 2016, the day on which new priests are traditionally consecrated in the diocese. The main task of the society is the remotion of provocations in the formation of priests. However, the consecrations of the society had been suspended by D. Kessel. Brussels today is the heavily de-Christianized and massively Islamicized capital of the European Union. Nevertheless, the incumbent Archbishop has the luxury of removing from his archdiocese those forces that promise renewal. The Priesthood Society of the Holy Apostles was only one stage of this purge against Orthodox groups. Others were to follow. Believers are taking legal action. The members of the 2 parishes of Brussels, under the auspice of the Society, did not for a moment believe that their Archbishop, out of sheer solidarity with the French bishops, showed the Society to the door. At the same time, 80 seminarians were studying in the Diocese of Namur, of which only 25 are Belgium. So far, however, the other 55 seminarians have not been sent home out of solidarity. Not even the numerous African and Polish priests who work in Belgium. Therefore, the parishioners asked D. Kessel for a discussion, without result. Several lay members then took legal action and returned to Rome. They appealed to the Congregation of the Clergy, objecting to D. Kessel's decree of dissolution. However, the prefect of the Congregation of the Clergy was first dicastery leader, which Pope Francis changed after his election. Cardinal Benanimo Stella, previously Vatican diplomat, has been sitting there ever since. In November 2016, the Congregation of the Clergy rejected the cases filed by the faithful without any justification. Sainte Catherine Church of Brussels. This left only the path to the Apostolic Signature, to which any one layman or cleric can turn if he sees his rights violated. Prefect of the Signature was the brilliant canonist Cardinal Raymond Burke, but Pope Francis had also exchanged him. To precise, he had been similarly rudely thrown him out of the Vatican, and D. Kessel had thrown the priestly society out of Belgium. Since the end of 2014, the former Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Vatican, Monsignor Domenico Mamberti, is prefect to the Supreme Court of the Apostolic Signature, formerly a Vatican diplomat like Stella. In 2016, the Brussels faithful brought their case before the Signature, The promoter Societe gave a positive opinion. According to the notification to the consignors, the cause should be submitted to the judge collegium in autumn 2017 for treatment. We were in good spirits. The right remains right. But then things happened differently. A bad story. On 25th November 2017, the consignors received a statement that the case had been closed, even before ordinary legal process was completed, or perhaps for that very reason. Cardinal Stella, the prefect of the Congregation of Clergy, had visited Pope Francis and submitted to him a decree for the definitive dissolution of the priesthood fraternity of the Holy Apostles. Pope Francis signed the decree challenging the case. The objection to the resolution decree by Cardinal D. Kessel had become obsolete with the dissolution decree of Pope Francis. To take advantage of the papal powers, the ordinary legal process was reduced to absurdity without any apparent necessity. The procedure is understood by those affected as arbitrary. It recalls the approach of Pope Francis against the Franciscans of the Immaculata. But the decree of the Congregation of Religious, the disempowerment of the order, the appointment of a commissioner, and the ban to celebrate without special permission the Holy Mass in traditional form. The affected religious, including the Superior General and founder of order, Di Stefano Emanueli, appealed to the Apostolic Signatura. Pope Francis, however, high-handedly rejected any recourse. The persons concerned have since arbitrarily delivered the decision. The Catholic internet newspaper Nuova Basura Quotidiana committed on the papal decision against the priestly brotherhood of the Holy Apostles by saying, "The decree signed by Pope Francis seemed to violate the right of the weakest in the Church. It's a story that does not throw a good light on the way business is done by the head of the Reformed Roman Curia and the Pope. A bad story. Truly is sad to see how Brussels has fallen. Truly is bad. Well, those in Brussels, not sure what to tell you guys. Y'all live in a very unchristian place that is very anti-Christian. But if there is such a thing as something in the EU about Christian persecution office or some sort of persecution office, try them since the order has priests from all over Europe. Yeah. Here in America, we love to have more religious orders who are totally traditional and faithful to the Church. The Fraternity, the Saints Apôtres, So if you guys are watching, see if you can set up shop in America somewhere. Yeah. I'll go to the EU office and see if there's some sort of religious discrimination office there and file with them. See what they would do. Only thing you could say is no. Don't stop fighting for this order. Same with the friars of the Immaculata. These guys need to keep fighting. Anyway, want to share this link in the description part. And yeah, just have to bring it to you and let you know about it. If you're members of these parishes that were just shut down because you're part of the order of the Holy Apostles, well, you use in your neighborhood. Go down the street to them and see if they got some sort of religious discrimination office and file a case with them. That's all I can say. Tried the Supreme Court of the Vatican. Tried everything at the Vatican and nothing. Go to the EU, see what happens. It is full.